Hi everyone, here's the BookReview once again, and today I am reviewing The Familiar #2 after reviewing the first volume in this 27-volume series by Danielewski. That it's Danielewski's literary take on the concept of a TV series, basically. This is actually the first volume, the second is in a different city at the moment, but the second one looks exactly the same, except that there's a 2 on the cover, no shit. Now, when I say that the second volume looks exactly the same, I mean aesthetically. Like, I don't know if you can see, but on the inside they look exactly the same. You have the quirky intro, which points at some kind of science fictional background for the series. You have all these fragmented chapters in which each character is represented through a different font, through a different point of view and perspective and style of writing. You have some characters which feature pretty much straightforward narratives. With some characters you have all these weird narratives that mix different languages and are kind of difficult to grasp, but at the same time somehow kind of flow. What I mean is that the two books look and feel exactly the same. Which is bad. Why is it bad? Because when you crack open an 800-page book written in an experimental style, in this very quirky, very fragmented style, that's fine. You know you're along for this kind of ride, and you get along, and the originality of the whole thing kind of makes the book rather good. And I liked The Familiar #1 quite a lot. It was in my top 20 books from 2015. When you get a second volume like that, exactly like that, the originality of the whole thing kinda starts to fade, and you stop focusing on the style so much. It's not so exciting anymore, and you start focusing on the content of the book. And halfway through this thing I started realizing that yeah, after investing quite a lot of time and quite a lot of money, because these things cost a shitload of money, there wasn't really that much going on in the book at all, not really. But you might say, well, bookchemist, that's what you get with TV series, because remember, The Familiar, the 27 volumes in the series are going to be like 27 seasons, 27 episodes in a single season of a TV series. With TV series you get a pilot episode that makes you understand how the series is going to be, and the rest of the episodes are kinda like that. But that's not really how TV series work, not all the time, really. Like, a few weeks ago I watched a TV series which I loved absolutely, called Penny Dreadful, a horror series. Do watch it, in which the first episodes, the first 2 or 3, were really scary and gory and violent and kinda overly sexual, and it was amazing, of course, but after a while you start feeling, there's a point in which all these things stop being exciting and start getting tiresome. And in fact the series from episode 4 onward kinda slows down and kinda takes itself more easily, and there's not all this violence and sex all the time. With The Familiar that doesn't really happen, and after a while it gets kind of annoying. At the same time I have reasons to think that the next volumes won't be this much cryptic, though I won't add anything else because that would be a spoiler. And, well, I have to say that I reconsidered the book a lot during the second half of volume 2, because then it starts to happen what should have happened maybe a little bit earlier, which is that the characters, all these 10 different characters, some of which are related, some of which you have no idea why they're there, you start seeing the connections between the characters. You start to realize why you are reading about the lives of all these different people. The plot also advances a little bit, some interesting things start to happen, you get a clearer idea about how people really are. Are they assholes? Are they good persons? You start getting that. And as I said, you see the connections, and that's brilliant and beautiful. So I'm not going to go ahead much with this. Do I recommend The Familiar #2? If you read the first one, do read the second one. If you still haven't started, know what you're getting into. What I'm going to say is that the good thing about this series is that Danielewski said that if people don't like it, he will stop before volume 27, he will stop after a few volumes. And he will change the volumes according to the people's preferences. So, Mr. Danielewski, hello, I'm the bookchemist. Never mind the change of clothes, my camera fucked up. So, kudos for the series, for The Familiar. I really like the idea behind it. Please try to tune down the quirkiness, the less immediate parts. Keep them, because of course they're what makes this series peculiar, but make it a bit more enjoyable, especially since the series progresses. Also try to show a bit more connections like you did in the second half of The Familiar #2, especially the last chapter, those things. Try to give us a few more glimpses of what's actually going on, especially with the introduction, with all the parts that are a bit more difficult to connect to the others. Also, fuck you for all the nightmares House of Leaves gave me. Dope book, but fuck you. That's pretty much it, guys. Have you read The Familiar Number 2 already? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your feelings about the fact that we'll have to wait, I think, until June for the next volume? Let me know whatever passes through your mind in the comment section below. Thank you again for watching.